The views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Since its founding in 1926, the Greater Nashua Chamber of Commerce has been a catalyst for the success of Greater Nashua's diverse business community. Through advocacy, building connections, and professional development, each episode of Chamber Chats spotlights two local businesses sharing their unique journeys, services, and successes. Whether you're a business owner, community member, or curious about our region's businesses, Chamber Chats is the perfect way to connect and get inspired. Welcome to Chamber Chats.
Good morning, Nashua. You are listening to Chamber Chats on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM, and you can watch us live on Facebook or WSMN.live. I am Emma Williamson, the Programs Manager at the Greater Nashua Chamber of Commerce, and I will be one of your hosts today, along with Amelia Nee, Membership Relations Manager.
Hello, Emma.
Hi, Amelia.
You can find us here every other Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. thanks to our generous sponsor, Bank of New Hampshire. Make sure to give both Chamber Chats and Greater Nashua Chamber of Commerce a like and follow on Facebook to stay up to date with all of our amazing events and programs, such as
some upcoming events. We have tomorrow night, Wednesday, August 13th, our business after hours at St. Mary's Bank. Next Thursday, August 21st, we have both our out-of-the-box lunch at First Church, sponsored by Kinsley House of Pizza, and our Greater Nashua Young Professionals Social at Margarita's. Coffee Connections is going to be on Tuesday, August 26th, at Coffee and Kindness, and Making the Most of Your Membership will be Wednesday, August 27th via Zoom.
Our first guest for today is Melissa of Mad Learning Design. Hello, Melissa.
Hello there. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for coming on.
Welcome.
So, just for the listeners, start us off. What is Mad Learning Design? What do you do? What do you offer?
So Mad Learning Design offers custom learning solutions that is built towards business objectives and employee development goals. So we help you build training for your in-house employees.
Wow. And it's custom tailored to each business, to the
tailored.
needs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So every business is unique. They all have different goals and objectives of why they want their employees to be trained. So we work with them to meet those custom needs.
That's great.
If they already have certain parts of their training pre-made, will you fill the gaps?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And not only will we fill the gap, but we also offer hourly rates. So we can literally fill in a team as well. So if they already have a team of designers, developers, we can offer an extra pair of hands at an hourly rate and just work however many hours they need to fill in the gap.
Wow.
And what services do you offer more than just design trainings?
So we also do learning strategy. So I can also help build onboarding programs, new hire programs, succession planning. So if you've got roles that will grow into higher level roles, we can put together what that training looks like for you. I also offer process improvement, so business processes. So I find that a lot of times training and process work hand in hand. You can't really train on the how if you don't know the why. So I also offer that services. It could be separate on its own, but it also could be something we can combine with a training program.
Okay.
Wow. Yep. And I was looking on your website, and do you also offer live trainings for people?
Oh, yeah. So basically, one of the things that we can do is not only develop training, but we can also deliver training. One of the great sort of things that I have and partnerships that I have is I actually partner with a recruiting company. And so she specializes in finding learning professionals to help me with my team if I need extra hands. And so one of the things that she has is a book of trainers. So we can do live training and I can tap one of her trainers to help do and deliver that training. So we can not only design it for you, but we can also help deliver it.
Wow. And do you have options when it comes to cost of financing or
yes,
payment
I do.
plans?
So training obviously has a cost, and sometimes it could be kind of high, but it's needed, right? Every employee needs to be able to learn how to do their job. So training is an important factor. So when I built my business, I built it around being able to support, especially the small businesses that really need the learning for their employees. So I offer what I call financing for learning options. And it's not just for learning. I do learning in quotes because it also can be used for the process improvement if you want. But we have 3 different options that I provide. So one of them is subscription plans. So we can put together together a monthly subscription plan to help you pay off your training cost. And it can be paid off even after training is complete. It doesn't have to be finished the day that training is done, that we're finished with the project. So it's however long you need for whatever that amount is going to work for both of us. The other thing I have is invoicing structure, flexible invoicing. So, maybe you need invoicing once a month, or maybe you need it, once every 2 months, or even, once every 2 weeks, depending on what your budget is and what your finance structure is. So I do flexible invoicing. The last thing I do is actually true financing. So it's business to business financing. So think about it as you're going to buy a car, and the dealership goes and puts your information into a system, and a bunch of banks come back and say, hey, we can offer you these different things. You pick the one that works for you. It's the same concept. So I partner with FlexBuy to do a business to business financing, where companies can actually go out there and get information from lenders that say, hey, we can give you this rate, this cost, and this is your monthly payment. So I even offer that one for sometimes those higher training costs that where you really need it, but again, you need an option to be able to pay it off.
Right. That's huge for the small business owners,
Yeah.
because in the grand scheme of things, training can sometimes get overlooked, and it really should not.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
But, you never want cost to be a barrier to a business doing well, and training, plays into that.
And being a small business owner myself, I understand that sometimes you just can't pay that high cost. You just can't afford it, especially when you're starting out. So we built these packages in place to be able to help businesses like me to get that training that they need for their employees, but be able to afford it at the same time. So again, as a small business owner, I understand the high cost. So that's why I put those packages together.
And I would say that connection too is huge, because you understand where they're coming from. They know that you understand where they're coming from.
Yep,
That's
absolutely.
huge.
And, small businesses is obviously one of the places that I really want to hit because they do need it the most. But I also work with mid-sized companies, and I will work with large companies. I've worked with like a satellite company that's got, thousands of employees. So, and I've also worked with companies that've got like 10 people. So there's no matter of size, but I wanted the packages to be able to hit anyone. So whether you're a big company or a small company, you can utilize these options.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this, Melissa?
So I've been doing learning and development for 17, 18 years now. I think 27 will be officially 20 years for me. So I've been in the industry for almost 20 years. And then I started my business about 3 years ago. So eventually I got to a point where I learned all the skills I needed to be able to do. And believe it or not, it was actually my husband that said, I think you can start your own business.
Wow.
I'm like, really? And so we started talking about it, and I started planning and putting together the numbers and figuring out what skill levels I need, and realized, yeah, I can actually start my own business. So while my business is only 3 years old, I've been doing this for almost 20 years.
Yeah. Pretty seasoned.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have any like success stories that stand out in your mind of like just an experience that went really well, better than you could have expected, or where the client came back to you and said like, I don't know how, like, you don't know how much I needed this. This was like the make or break for me. Do you have anything like that?
Sure. So as I mentioned, I worked for a satellite company. And one of the things that we did with them is we actually did live recordings. And so it's a satellite company, so they have to build satellites on the ground. And so it was a matter of, okay, well, how do we teach people how to build these antennas on the ground? And so the idea was, okay, well, let's do some live videos. And it was a completely new antenna that they were doing. And so I basically took source material, put together a storyboard, went on site, worked with a videographer, and was actually sort of a director in a sense. And I'm like, oh, point the camera here, point the camera there. And basically we created these videos, they posted them on YouTube, and they were able to distribute them to countries that were basically like, I think one of them was like, I don't know, Afghanistan or India, or like places that they really couldn't send people to, but they could send the videos themselves. And so it helped these sort of other countries be able to create these antennas on the ground without having to then have the cost of sending an actual human being out there, especially to areas that may not be so safe.
Yeah.
So the videos really helped to be able to actually get a wide range of customers to build these antennas and build them successfully, because they were literally broken down by step by step. So I guess that also says that I can do live video. It doesn't have to just be training or e-learning. I can definitely help record live videos and work with videographers to be able to put together training videos. But it was so great and so successful. And those videos are actually out there on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So that could be seen. But yeah, they were able to reach so much more people with those videos and actually get more antennas built on the ground because of them.
Yeah, and then the language barrier side of it too, if that exists, it's easy to use technology. It's easier to use technology, especially like on the internet. There's like, all those different technologies that can just take it and change it to a different language that is needed. So that's huge too.
Depending on your need, conceivably, we could also work with a translation company. And translation companies, there are a lot of learning translation companies out there that will actually take these learning videos and just redo them into whatever translation you need.
Like a voiceover, just
Exactly.
re-record the audio for it.
So I think these videos actually were recorded also in, was it Portuguese? It might have been Portuguese. But they went ahead and they used a translation company and they just had it translated. So there are learning companies out there that are designed for translation. So any videos, e-learnings, anything that get created, we can then go to another company and say, hey, can you put this in Spanish and Chinese and Japanese and Greek and whatever language, and they will actually take those files and translate them.
That's amazing.
Now, are you a one-woman show, or do you have employees at Mad
So
Learning
I
Design?
am actually a one-woman show.
Good for you.
I do work with, I have a lot of partnerships. So as I mentioned, I've got the recruiting partner that I work with that will help me get the extra staff if I need.
Right.
I also have a developer partner. So someone that is really skilled at the high-level e-learning. So e-learnings have engagements, and some of them are really they're like gamification and scenario learning, and so the development for that can be very technical. And so I actually have a partner that will do those high-level development for me. He also does animation videos. He does After Effects and all that kind of stuff. So I don't have employees, but I have built a partnership to be able to then bring in extra help and support when I do need them for projects.
That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't want to. The goal is to eventually get to a point where I could bring in maybe contractors. I'm not sure if I'll go the employee route, but maybe contractors at least. So that is the next level goal, is to be able to have projects to bring extra hands in. But the good thing is because of these partnerships that I've built up, I have that ability and that capability once I'm ready financially as a small business to get to that point.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, for the fellow entrepreneurs and small business owners that are listening, do you have any challenges that you faced in the process of getting your business started
Yes.
that stand out in your mind?
Yes.
That you're open to sharing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I tell this to any small business person I talk to, because I also ask them that question. I'm like, how do you do this? Believe it or not, it's the marketing. I find that the marketing of the business is actually the hardest part. Like, once you make the connections, and like I said, I have my partnership, so I can get business through them, but it's the marketing to get like the new logos, the new brands, the new people to come to you. And with social media, sometimes it's very hard because social media is constant. You have to constantly be putting stuff out there and showing yourself and your name. And when you're a one-woman show, it's kind of tough to do that because you also have to then work 40 hours to pay the bills.
Right.
So I find, believe it or not, the marketing for a small business is the hardest part, and just being able to get my name out there just to meet new people and new businesses that need help. So that is actually my biggest struggle. And I've taken trainings, I've talked to other people, and I think it's more around the time that has to be dedicated to market. And it's, again, when you're by yourself and you're trying to just bring a business up, it's kind of tough. So opportunities like this is great, because then I can take advantage of that to at least get my name out there. But I do find that's the hardest part, is the marketing.
Well, especially with social media, the algorithms, they're always changing, and you're always trying to stay up to date on what you need to do for the current algorithm. And then when you finally feel like you've figured it out and it's good, it's like, hey, we changed it.
Yep.
You figure it out again.
And then, we talked about cost earlier. So it's like hiring someone to be able to do that for me then also has a cost that I don't know if I can afford at the present moment.
Right.
So that is, it's the toughest.
That's what we hear, but like from all of our nonprofits or small businesses or whatnot, our members, is that's the toughest battle is just visibility. And that's why, we're a big advocate for that, is the marketing and the visibility, because you're spinning so many plates in the air already. It's almost like, okay, I don't have time to, put out an email blast, or, they don't have the opportunities without, usually without the chamber, to go on a radio show and things like that. So,
well, and the other thing is you mentioned email blasts. So things that worked 10 or so years ago sometimes don't work today
Right.
anymore. So like, I have an email list and I've sent out blasts, but people don't respond to emails as well as they used to 10, 20 years ago. Now it is more of the social media, the LinkedIn connections, I find that people want the one-on-one connection. They want to know you first before hiring you. So again, it's the networking, it's the getting your name out there, it's the posting, but that also is time.
Right.
It's just, so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, well, can I afford to leave my house at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the middle of a day, of a work day, to go do an event? So sometimes the night events are also really nice too, because then I can get the work day in and go to a night event. But that in itself is also difficult, because what worked 20 years ago doesn't work as much today.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds like Melissa needs to come to business after hours
Tomorrow
tomorrow.
night.
Tomorrow night.
It's fair. No, I definitely have to do more of them. I do go to business after hours, but not as much as I probably should. Same thing with your out of box, the lunch one.
Oh, yeah.
as
You were
well.
at that not last month, but the month before.
I was.
No, it was last month.
Was it last
I think.
month?
I
Yeah.
think.
So I have to
months and days.
definitely go more consistently and more frequently. But again, it's
the
tough.
time.
It's the time.
It's finding the time,
Yeah.
especially like we said, as a one-woman show.
Right.
Yeah. So even the after hours, which is 5:30, is still an earlier event, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, can I get off at 5 o'clock to then get myself ready
Yep.
to
Sure.
then get to the business after hours? So
Sure.
it's just
Yeah.
So I make it work. I try to do what I do,
Yeah.
what I can do, right? So
It sounds like you're doing great.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
you're here. You made the time.
I'm
to
here.
be
Yes, I'm here. So
And that's the thing about like marketing too, is like you sometimes have to get creative with it, and if it's not your specialty, like you don't have that thought in your mind
Right.
always. Like
Absolutely.
it wasn't until someone said it to me where, so like for chamber chats, like yes, we're on the radio, we live stream to Facebook, but we also archive the audio recording on our website. And it was someone mentioned it to me once in passing. They're like, do you save this and post it all? And we're like, oh yeah, it goes on our website, it's on our Facebook. They're like, cool, I'm gonna clip it and put it on my LinkedIn. I'm like, oh my gosh, members they don't just get the chance to come on here. And so now I tell everyone that. I'm like, oh yeah, you can get the recording and then clip it and put it on your LinkedIn. Like it doesn't just have to be like, okay, I did the one thing, but like you have to think that way.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's like, and when something like marketing's not your niche or not your specialty, you're not going to think that way.
Right.
So I have an interesting question.
Okay.
That we like to ask people if we have time, we have time. Do you have a piece of literature, an artist, a speaker that's sort of been an influence for you? Or is it more so just being involved in interacting with people, mentors? And
So I don't have one individual like person, but I know like for me in my industry, one of the things that have been really invaluable has been going to conferences. So again, as a small business, conferences are expensive. So I haven't really been able to do one since starting my own business. So I'm hoping at some point I can do it. But especially early on in my career, like going to the industry conferences, the Learning Guild conferences in Florida and the AATD conferences, like meeting other people in the industry and hearing what other people are doing and what they're working can bring so much inspiration. And not only that, but you also learn about the new tools that are out, new techniques that are out. Learning and development, like any other industry, changes. It changes with the times and especially the new set of employees that are coming in. The
younger
Zs that are coming in, and how to train them. So going to conferences, there are people that are talking about sessions with that. Developing tools to help with that. AI obviously is very big right now. So that's the one thing I think I've always loved and have always gotten inspiration from. And one of the things that I do miss right now, since I can't technically afford, because again they tend to be a lot of money, but I'm hoping at one point I can get myself back into them, because I always find them to be very inspirational and just fun to just talk to other people that are passionate about what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
So that's basically where my inspiration I think would come from. So not a specific individual, but just the industry as a whole and meeting people in the industry.
That's awesome though. A lot of our small business owners have that common theme and common trend of like connection is always underlying to everything they do, or to growing their business. It's like there's connections within the community or within other professionals in their industry. It's like you can't have a business without it.
Yeah, and
like
not
I said, just to the customers, to other people.
And like I said, marketing is the same way, because like again, people don't want to work with you if they don't know you, is what I've discovered recently. So like making those connections and or having someone that knows someone also kind of helps as well, which is where a lot of my partnerships have come into play, is that it's someone who knew someone that I then was able to meet and have a connection with and say, oh, hey, let's partner together. So human connection, I think, in general is just the underlining aspect of things.
Absolutely.
You know, it's marketing, networking, even training sometimes. Like there's an aspect called social learning, which people learn from each other, and they chat with each other and they talk to each other as they're taking the same training. You did a learning conference recently, convention or the program, right?
Program,
that you did,
yeah.
where
Leadership
it was,
Greater Nashua, yes.
Which was a big group training.
Yes.
And so, you know, that would kind of leverage itself into the social learning, because you're not just learning solo, you're learning it side by side with other people, and you're talking to them, and you're, so human connection, I think, yeah, to your point, is just the baseline for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All about relationships and connections.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So has MAD Learning Design, has that taken you all over? Do you kind of just stick with New England
Oh,
for
no.
your
So
clients?
I'm a remote worker. Like my company is completely remote. I work from home. So I basically can work with anyone, anywhere.
Nice.
One of the partnerships that I worked from is actually a learning company that I think their headquarters is actually in India. But then they
Wow.
have like, I think there was another another U.S. based headquarters that they have. But they needed extra hands. They needed another designer to come in and help them develop training. So yeah, absolutely. I work from home, therefore I can pretty much work
Go
with
wherever.
anyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it's not specifically just New England. I can work from anyone that is okay with me being from home. If I have to go on site, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
I would need someone local for that. But if it's basically, hey, we just need you to create these e-learnings for us, or we need you to help us build this, you know, onboarding program, as long as they're okay with me working at my desk in my sweatpants, then I can work with anyone, anywhere.
One of the
That's
blessings
great.
of working from home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's so amazing.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about your services, or if they want to reach out for a consultation?
Absolutely.
Email, phone number, website. What
Yeah.
what are they?
So I have all of them. But the most, I think the easiest way to get in touch with me is probably going to be through email. So email is my first name and then my business. So melissa@madlearningdesign.com.
Nice and
But you
easy.
can, nice and easy. But you can also check my website, madlearningdesign.com. There's a form on there that you can fill out that will actually pinpoint what you're contacting me about. So you're like, hey, I want custom learning, or I want, you know, learning strategy, or I want process improvement. You can select it on the form, and it'll come to me, and I will basically be able to start the conversation knowing exactly what you're looking for. So both avenues will work.
That's amazing. Well, Melissa, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Listeners, when we come back, Emma and I will be joined by Melbourne and David of Wonderlust Therapeutic Services. You're listening to Chamber Chats on WSMN 1590 AM, 95.3 FM, live on air, and online at WSMN.live and Facebook. We'll be right back after this short break.